MyMac podcast 913. Nothing Ventura-ed and nothing gained.
And welcome everyone to the MyMac.com podcast. Now, Gaz, do you remember all those times when we have told people not to immediately update to a new version of the macOS? Do you remember those times? Well,
I don't. I do remember those times, but I don't think we've ever said that.
Well, I know I have told people that at least once. Well,
yes.
Unfortunately, both of us have completely decided to ignore that advice and throw common sense out the window because we both did it anyway.
Yes. So
far, so good, which means disaster is likely right around the corner. How are you today, Gaz?
I'm absolutely wonderful, thank you. We've so far had a very, very busy weekend, Friday and Saturday. I've had a very busy week, still going strong on ScreenFlow, I've got to say. More ScreenFlow this week on 10.0.7. I did wait to make sure, and I did a search to see if anybody was having a problem with Ventura.
With ScreenFlow.
No, with Ventura and ScreenFlow. Will you let me finish?
Sorry.
Because I did see an update come through, and an email from I can't remember who the maker of ScreenFlow is now. That's going to annoy me, isn't it? Telestream.
Yeah, them.
Yeah, them. I knew it was.
Yeah, Paul Kafarsis is with them.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Wait, no, he's not. Anyway, I did wait before I updated, but I did pretty much upgrade fairly quickly, which I'm not sure whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I did it. And so far it's been good. I did have a bit of a panic with my camera, which actually wasn't Ventura's fault. It was my fault for realizing that I've been trying continuity camera and that I hadn't changed back from continuity camera in eyeglasses. So I couldn't work out why eyeglasses was not showing me my camera, but actually I'm on continuity camera now. So it should be a slightly crisper. You can see even more of my creases. Definitely see more of my creases. And this week's been interesting. Last weekend I've just jumped straight into my stuff, you see, haven't I?
Damn it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
no, that's fine. You zoom me in and out all you like. I don't care. The people like to see a close-up of me. No, I won't do that silly, horrible face. They put us side by side and leave it there. You're making me dizzy. Anyway, last week after our show, after I've been working on MyMac a lot, and I've been working on MyMac again this week quite a lot. But I watched the F1, which came from the US of A, in Austin, Texas.
And nice.
I saw now. I don't know if any of you guys listening to this watch F1, but there's I can't remember his name now. He does the pit walk for Sky TV. Oh, but that's going to annoy me. Anyway, he did the walk, and I thought, that's Tim Cook. That's Tim Cook walking past him. He's going down the pit, and he often looks for celebrities and bigwigs, and he walked straight past him. He hadn't got a clue.
Recognize him.
And I think Craig Federighi might have been there. I can't remember if it was Craig Federighi or
Air
one
Force
of the others.
One.
Might have been Air Force One. It might have been someone else. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I thought, what's he doing there? And then I saw Brad Pitt, and he was talking to Brad Pitt. And of course, Brad Pitt is doing an F1 movie, and he's doing that F1 movie for Apple, I believe.
Oh, really?
So I think that's where the link was. And then at the end of the race, guess who's waving the checkered flag, which is a bit of an honor. And people really feel, there's not many people get to be allowed up onto the podium to see the cars zooming underneath and for the to wave flag. I'm sure it's the same in IndyCar.
It was Angelina Jolie.
It was not. It was not. It was Tim Cook.
Who?
No idea. And I've got to say, he did not look happy. It was miserable. He looked absolutely miserable. Now
Now,
he was either concentrating so hard that he looked like he was constipated,
didn't want to
or
drop the flag onto the cars
you're
below.
not going to drop the flag, are you? For heaven's sake! But he was kind of waving it backwards and forth. I thought, for heaven's sake, cheer up. There are kids that have been watching F1 since they were 2, and they're now in their hundreds that would adore to have. Not just me. No, not just me. I'm not bothered about doing it. But I know there are massive fans of F1 that would have the biggest grin on their faces being in that position. And you look like you've just had, well, I won't say it. But
well, let me ask you
grief.
something. I haven't seen that many F1 races, but I have seen like highlights of like NASCAR races and stuff like that, where they show the very end of the race. And the guy that's waving the flag, or the girl that's waving the flag, whoever it is usually like in a small little container that's like over the road.
Correct. The same. It's the same.
So maybe he has like agoraphobia or something, where he's afraid of heights.
Yeah, well, afraid of small spaces as well, afraid of fast cars. Look, whatever it was, he could have just at least smiled a little bit. Just a little bit. Anyway, that made me laugh quite a lot.
Apparently, he was not a happy camper.
And then what made me really angry was I sent yourself and our dear friend over at Mac and Forth a text in the week about a certain increase for Apple One that is coming all of our ways. And I was fuming because I said, they haven't told me. They can't just take out of my direct debit a new amount. They've got to inform me. You know, that is just not on. Now, what made it worse was that I looked on my phone, went into the application, and it said October, and it said the new price. And I thought, hang on a minute, it's about to be taken out in a couple of days. You can't do this, Apple. Now, I wonder whether Apple got hit with lots and lots of complaints about this, because I wish I'd taken a screenshot, Guy, because it said October and it said the new price. 2 days later, this was after I'd sent you and Carl that text, I got an email saying you have been invoiced for October, the current price. It wasn't the new price.
What is the new price?
Well, it's about $3 or over here £3 more than the current price. So I normally pay $19.95 because I've got the mid-tier, and it's going up to $22.95 over here in the UK. And the $29.95 is going up to $32.95. The $14.95 is going up to $16.95. Now they're all GB pounds, but I think it's similar in the US as well.
Yeah,
so the Apple
it was $29.95, I think, US dollars.
Yeah, and it's going up to 32, I think. Anyway, so I was fuming, but I got a feeling that they had, because I was thinking I'm going to write to Tim Cook and Apple. I'm not happy about this because, you've got to inform me. It's a direct debit. You can't just suddenly. Yeah. Apple has complained about all of the app manufacturers or the app developers that have been doing the same thing in their app store. And then they're going to do the same thing. Well, they either backed out, made a mistake on my iPhone saying that I was going to be charged it, or somebody said, actually, no, we can't do this until we've informed the customers that we're going to be charging the new price. Anyway, I finally got the email and it's going up to the new price for me, certainly next month. And if you're listening to this and you didn't know, there is a price increase to Apple One. I'm glad I've got that rant out of me. How are you? How are you? How was your week?
Actually, it's been kind of a weird week. My wife left on Thursday.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's always hard. A breakup's always hard.
Well, she's coming back.
Oh,
apparently the bachelorette life was not all it was cracked up.
That's not worse, is it, that she's coming back? No.
Well, no.
Don't answer that the wrong way.
No. She does not listen to the show.
No, but a friend.
Ever.
No, I'm going to send her a copy.
Yeah, just pull out that little audio snippet. Send it right over to her. Yeah. And that would go to gsearle@gmail.com. Just let you all know.
Yeah.
But no, she's gone down to North Carolina. She's doing some of her genealogy stuff and visit with some of the relatives there. And she had told me that she was going to go like some time ago, and shock, I had completely forgotten that she was going on this coming or that last Thursday. So on like right after we finished recording, at some point on Sunday, she was like, well, I'm going on Thursday. I wanted to ask you, were you planning on going with me? And I thought about it because I have a ton of leave that I have to use or lose related to my job.
Yeah.
Because for like basically the last 2 years, I haven't gone anywhere. So it's been building and building and building, this is not a bad problem to have,
Nope.
It's kind of like, oh gosh, darn it, you're going to force me to take a week off. Darn and damn it anyway. So I decided not to go because I wanted to use some of that for an upcoming trip and to take a large amount of time off when you're shorthanded in the office anyway. And then like just a few weeks later, take another large amount of time, kind of frowned upon. So first week of December, I'm going down to Florida.
Right.
And I'm going to visit with my brother and his kids, maybe take one of his kids, my great nephews and great
Something
niece,
like
something like that. Grand.
Yeah.
I might take them to Disney World for the day because this is Disney World's 50th anniversary.
Okay.
And I went when I was a kid in 1972, the first year that they were open. So this would be a bookmark for that as well. So I haven't decided yet exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm planning on, and then I would go farther on down to Fort Lauderdale where I grew up and visit with my brother Larry, who lives in that area, and some of my high school friends who still have all their brains put together, having lived in South Florida for all those years. So, but that's basically, that's going to be like the first week in December. So I'll probably miss 1 or 2 weeks of the podcast right around that time.
Okay.
And I went ahead and I updated to macOS Ventura, just like you did.
Yep.
And, I bought some new gear. Some of it I talked about last week. And I swore I wasn't going to introduce anything new until I got everything else stabilized. Well, that obviously didn't quite work out the way I thought it was going to. And we're going to talk about macOS Ventura in the next section. But I will say that if you like how iOS and iPadOS looks and works, you're going to like a lot how things are arranged in Ventura. If you don't care, then you may not like it at all.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not seeing a great deal of difference, if I'm honest. So I'll be interested in what you're going to come up with there, because I'm not seeing a great deal of difference.
This isn't going to be like an in-depth kind of thing, where we're going to look at some of the major features and we're going to demonstrate. If you watch the video, hold on, it always makes me laugh when I say that. Are you
recording?
Yeah. I am recording. If you watch, that's very important, because there's been a couple times it's been like, okay, well, if you watch the video, and it's like,
you'll see this.
Didn't turn the video recording on.
Anyway, it's not.
But there'll be some stuff. There'll be some stuff in there.
But I'm not seeing a great deal of difference visually. So I'm sure there's some background things.
There is some stuff, especially if you like using
system preferences.
Yeah, and also what's that called? Stage manager.
Yeah, washboard.
Yeah,
that is all. I've not even bothered using that because I've seen other people using it. I think it's awful.
It's okay.
It's using real estate. It does need to use, but we'll talk about it. Yeah,
we'll talk about that later. And I have a dual screen setup, and it works the way. And I was surprised it works the way it's supposed to. But the other thing I was trying to do, and so far I haven't been able to get it to do it, was add a second camera into. Let's see if it's coming up now. No, it's still not coming up, which is unfortunate, because I was going to show you some of the new gear that I've got set up here, but I can't show it to you without going to a lot of trouble, which I'm not going to. But I've got this Behringer unit, the Ultra Voice UV1, which looks a lot like the DBX, and I've got this really, really nice, and I hope it sounds good, this Rode NT1 microphone.
Yep.
So this is a condenser microphone, and it's really great. I really like it. And so that's the mic that Guy is using today. And will I use it again next week?
Who knows?
Who knows? I've got so many to choose from.
Who knows?
So that will probably lead into something else, won't it, Gas?
I think it should lead into Gazzy snippets. Smooth. God,
Yeah,
so smooth.
just like we know what we're doing.
My first snippet is actually Tim Cook waves the checkered flag at Formula One Grand Prix. I'm going to move swiftly on from that because I think you've heard my views. Apparently, Bono has written a memoir that reveals the story behind the free U2 album debacle and the U2 iPod. Now, I've done a little bit of investigation into this, and apparently U2 kind of said it was kind of a semi-agreement. It wasn't really Apple's fault. It was kind of U2's fault for kind of, or Bono's fault for saying, well, why don't you do this? That would be a good idea. And it kind of backfired on both of them, really, as we all know.
A little bit.
But if you do a bit of digging, you'll find articles on that, and there's a bit of a chat with Bono on it, and it's quite interesting. But we're past that now, aren't we? Apple apparently is raising the price of Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and Apple One. Right, yes. Well, we've talked about that. Apple has released, guess what? macOS Ventura. I think we've spoken about that. Might speak a little bit more. Apple has released iPad OS 16. Apple has released iOS 16.1. I think actually 16.2 is going to be out quite soon, if it isn't already. Apple has released watchOS 9.1. Apple has released tvOS 16.1. So all of that came out last week. Many of you will know. Many of you will have updated.
Or had it update for you.
Or had it update if you got it on automatic for you, which may or may not be a bad thing. It's always best to kind of have a little bit of control over that so you can update the apps that really you need. And especially as I've been using ScreenFlow a lot, I really needed to make sure that was working because I couldn't suddenly not be able to use it to continue doing those videos. Apparently, now I'm not sure, I haven't read into this, but it says Apple expands the SKA-ad network features with iOS 16.1 and iPad OS.
Oh, is that the App Store?
Yes.
Advertisements?
Yes. Apple is rolling out a new version to its SKA-ad network framework for developers. Now, a little bit more on some other stuff like that a little bit later, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you'll be happy to hear. Apple has a new App Store rules for NFTs and cryptocurrency. Apple has announced updates to the App Store review guidelines offering guidance for apps offering cryptocurrency and NFTs. Well, unless you're into that, then I'm not sure I'm going to go into them here. Apple has called on its global supply chain to decarbonize by 2030. Or what? We won't use you. We won't use you. Oh, well, perhaps
that'll show you who's going to make your stuff. Oh, well.
Someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there'll be a lot of, it looks a bit draconian, but actually they're probably doing an awful lot of work between the two companies and lots of discussions between all the companies to do that.
Here's the thing. I'm delighted that Apple's trying to push forward with this. However, considering the various countries where they have their stuff manufactured.
Yeah, but you see, now the funny thing is here, Guy, I know where you're going with this, and I tend to agree with you. However, if they don't do anything, that's kind of worse. If they're kind of pushing for it, then perhaps the rest of the country might follow.
That's kind of the point. To me, it's almost like posturing for the sake of posturing. Yeah, because
maybe
if those companies and countries don't go carbon neutral, what's Apple going to do about it?
Well, we're all screwed anyway. Well, they could move the purchasing of goods elsewhere. Apparently, Apple environmental goals for suppliers will be enforced by audits, Guy. They will be enforced by audits. iPhone 14 Pro.
With suicide nets.
Now, iPhone 14 Pro demand greatly exceeded Apple's expectation, apparently. A study finds that Apple Blood Watch oxygen sensor is as reliable as a medical-grade device. Can I put the counter to that? I've heard that it is accurate and gives you a good trend, but is not as accurate as this is saying. If this article is correct, though, actually, that's a big plus for the Apple Watch. So I hope that it is accurate. I don't want to poo-poo it, but actually, if it's good, then excellent.
Okay.
You're frowning.
I'm frowning because people should not be relying on
No,
passive devices like watches
no.
to get all of their various medical ailments in line.
And I think I've said this before.
Professional devices.
Absolutely. But actually, as a trend and something you can keep an eye on, which then would indicate that you need to then use proper equipment.
Yeah, just don't think it's going to be
don't rely on
100%.
No, absolutely. Apple has updated iWork apps for iPad OS 16 and macOS Ventura with new collaboration feature. Really looking forward to that one. They're about
honestly, this is kind of cool.
It is cool, but
we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it later.
Section.
But I'm going to say here and now, they're about 5 years behind the curve on that one.
So a lot of this stuff, yeah.
And also, I've got a feeling I saw something. Now, I'm not sure whether I kept a news article on this or not, but I thought I saw that you can actually sign up now for iWork. Just sign up with a registration like you can with Microsoft apps, Office apps, and you can use them free online. Just putting that out there. Both Microsoft, if you've got a Microsoft 365 account and it's free to sign up, you can use the apps free online. And interestingly,
I did editing?
Yes, absolutely. Because I've done that today. I've done it with the 365 app. Now, it's something which is coming up for the Office app on Apple, I believe. But yeah, it's just that you've got to edit online. You can't, you've got to extract it then and download the stuff, but you can't then use the apps offline. But actually, I've used the 365 version today because I'll tell you what, macOS and M1 may be great for video, but when you throw a lot of numbers into numbers, it slows it down, Guy. Really? I have found M1's possibly faux pas. It really did. It didn't struggle, but I was noticing that I was going, hang on a minute. I know that Excel would deal with that like this. And numbers was struggling with large numbers of numbers.
Well, have you tried Excel on an M1?
Only online, and it coped with it, and it coped with it perfectly.
Yeah, but that's not really worse. The M1 though. That's because all of the calculating is being done in the cloud.
Fair point. But what I'm saying, but the point I'm making is everybody's roaring and saying how good. Now, okay, let me back up then. These snippets are really going long, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let me back up then. I threw lots of numbers at Excel on an Intel Mac, and it dealt with it. I have thrown lots of numbers to numbers. Why did they call it that? On an M1 Mac, and it struggled. Just putting it out there. If you've got a different experience, let us know. Let me crack on with the snippets because I've gone curveball, haven't I? Apple again accused of being an uncompetitive. Oh, I've got my mic's in the way. I can't
words
read
are hard.
No, it's not the words. It's just that my mic's in the way. Being accused of an anti-competitive as it changes NFT rules. So going back to that thing that we did earlier, they're now being accused of being anti-competitive. There was an outage which affected iMessage and FaceTime last week. Don't know if that impacted any of our listeners. A doctor is not a crazy Apple person and recommends life-saving Apple Watch to every patient. The Apple Watch is being credited with the saving of a doctor who fell from the side of his house while power washing. Do you know, I'm not going to say any more on that.
Well, does it work for people that aren't doctors? That's my question.
Dr. Thomas Fischio not only credits the Apple Watch 5 with saving his life, but he also explains why he tells many of his patients they need to wear an Apple Watch. Moving on. Apple devices now support Nintendo's classic game controllers. Greg Wozniak, Apple will have to comply with the EU and switch iPhone to USB-C. Apparently, Craig Federighi and Greg Wozniak were on an interview, and they mentioned this. So perhaps go out and look for that if you want to.
Should have done it with a 13.
Apparently, Craig Federighi says that iMessage and Android would have held them back, them being Apple, in innovating. Okay, I saw this so many times, and it just made me laugh. So I'm going to put it in. Apple reportedly, because it is a rumor, Apple reportedly planning to release a larger 16-inch iPad next year. I bet
Oh,
I think
I
that's going to
saw
be.
that.
It's going to be expensive.
Well, I mean, for God's sake, a 16-inch iPad, really? Really, 4 inches bigger, or at least 3 inches bigger than the current big one.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
quite big, isn't it?
I could honestly, I could see a 14. I could see a 14-inch iPad.
Yeah.
A
But
16-inch
16.
iPad.
It
Come
is a
on.
rumor. That's why I said it is a rumor, but it made me laugh. That's why I put it in. So let's not dwell on it. And yes, here was something which I've looked at and used. Apple has introduced a new test design for iCloud website. I've gone on it. I quite like it. You get the offer if you log into iCloud on the web, and it says, "Would you like to try the new beta test?" I tried it. I liked it. See what you think.
Okay,
Um,
wait. Hold on.
wait.
Wait. Was this going to iCloud.com?
Yes.
And okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't. I actually. Here's the weird thing. When I go into work, I go open up Chrome and I open up a series of different tabs.
Yep.
CNN, Apple, not Apple, iCloud, though I end up never being able to use it because I'm usually pretty busy. Amazon, YouTube, and a work-related application. That's all in Chrome.
That's good that you do work.
Yeah, it is. And then I also have Edge browser opened up with all of my Microsoft apps.
Yes.
And of course, you know, depending on what it is I'm trying to do, I'm doing different things. But the last time that I actually went to iCloud.com and did anything there, it's not a great experience.
No, well, I like the new iCloud pages. So give it a go. Go on the beta page.
Okay,
so
I'll have to try it.
So you have to sign into iCloud, and then I think it gives you the option to try the beta pages. Have a look, see what you think.
It's actually been, even though I open up iCloud every single day, it's been like a year since I've actually done anything in iCloud. Well, I think I just do it because you
can't really do a great deal in it anyway, to be honest with you, until they bring the apps, possibly the Office apps to it. Okay, Siri Spy. iOS bug allowed apps to eavesdrop on your Siri conversations before it's been fixed. So Apple has released 16.1 and Ventura. In addition to headlining the new features and changes, there are also an essential security fix as well. One of the most notable ones is the bug that allowed application to eavesdrop on your conversations with Siri.
So lots of cursing by saying, "No, Siri, that's not what I said. Damn you!" Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, with the listeners going.
Yeah.
Apple has paused gambling ads in the App Store pages after developers have complained. Now, I don't know whether that's still ongoing or not. I've not seen.
No, don't. Honestly, Apple, if you're listening to this, and we know you do, stop allowing gambling sites to advertise through iOS. That's a terrible idea. I don't care how much money they're giving you. Terrible idea.
Now, listen to the contrary in this next headline.
Okay.
Apple VP Greg Joswiak says metaverse is a word he will never use.
Okay.
But he just used it.
Oh, that's true.
I'm moving on. India has fined Google another.
Couldn't say the M word.
Yeah, couldn't say the M word. Yeah. I just thought that was funny. India has fined Google another 114 million and demands Play open to third-party payments. Watch out, Apple. You're next.
They will be.
Apple iPhone posts remarkable 36% growth in China in Q3. Apple says that United Airlines has saved passengers from 13 million minutes in delays with iPhones and iPads. Now, I think you know that some of the airlines use iPads and iPhones for a lot of their documentation and doing stuff.
Sure.
Well, apparently, Apple at Work website touting a partnership with United Airlines said that United Airlines deployed iPhones and iPads to all of its 85,000 employees, making them fully mobile and empowered to be their most effective. There are some pretty cool statistics on how this partnership has helped employees, passengers, and so much more. Go over to, in fact, I found that on 9to5Mac if you want to read more, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, has it made their 17.5-inch wide seats any more comfortable?
No. What I'd like to ask the question is, but has it saved them, or did it make sure that they were on time in the first place?
Or that they just knew? Well, okay, see, we're saving you time by still delaying your flight, but letting you know ahead of time, or you're at the airport. It's like, you won't be able to board this flight. Oh, thank you. I've saved so much time.
I can sit and have another coffee with my Mac open.
Apple
Apple has released iOS 15.7.1 with the security updates for iPhone and iPad users who cannot go to the latest version. That's a beta. I don't want to talk about that. Apple reports fourth quarter 2022 results, 20.7 billion profit on a 90.1 billion revenue. I think their results were better than expected, but they are touting, and this was the thing that I was going to be waiting for to listen about, they are touting that the next quarter or quarters could be much lower than
wait a second. We're talking about fiscal year quarter 4 for 2021.
No.
Oh, 2022. You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of the new stuff that we've been talking about for the last few weeks was released fiscal year quarter 1, 2023.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But to my point, there is a lot of issues around the world at the moment, and Apple have released a statement as part of that fiscal statement, and this is what I was waiting to hear about, that things moving forward could be a struggle. And I don't disagree with that. Apple CEO Tim Cook, we're working hard to meet demand for iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Max. We'll wait and see on that one.
Wasn't there reports not that long ago talking about how there was lots of non-demand for the regular iPhone 14?
So we won't know until they actually put a statement out at the next fiscal quarter, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Apparently, Apple has surpassed 900 million paid subscribers as its revenue increases 5% year on year. And I think, yes, I've got it here, actually. Let me skip this one. I'll come back to that report. Apple has posted services revenue, get this guy, of 19.2 billion. Services, right? This is, it encompasses Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, etc., etc.
It's the number two. It's the number 2 revenue generator for Apple after the iPhone.
Incredible. Apparently, though, some Apple stores are to stop selling the first generation Apple Pencil until the USB-C adapter stock has improved.
Just stop selling the first generation Pencil. Make all your devices good with generation 2.
Telegram
Jesus
CEO.
Christ. Sorry.
Yes. Don't blaspheme, young sir.
I know. I'm sorry. I just
go and say 3 Hail Marys now, please. Telegram CEO has accused Apple of destroying dreams and crushing entrepreneurs. I'll move on.
Was that his company, or was he talking about Camo? More on that later.
Apple in the next
or
item.
Eyeglasses.
And the next, will you let me finish? In the next item, Apple stock surges as record earnings distinguished from beleaguered big tech firms. That, my friends, was quite an elongated gases snippets.
There we go. Oh, my. Do you have a link?
I don't know. The link, that was last week's link.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Liz Truss, boy, she's been a great prime minister. Oh, wait.
Was.
Yeah, now she's gone.
She's gone.
Totally gone.
Now we've got somebody else who's actually doesn't want to go to COP27, so he's not worried about the environment because he's got more important things. Guess what? Those more important things are the fact of the trashing of our economy done by his previous prime minister.
Got to kind of work on that a little bit.
Party, and he doesn't care because we have the presidency of COP26 at the moment, moving on to COP27, and he's demoted that particular person out of the ministry. Yes, he doesn't care about the world, folks. I'm not political. I'm just stating facts.
Okay, we're going to move on to Ventura. Some of the stuff to talk about Ventura.
Yeah, let's get on to Mac stuff.
And I'm going to show some stuff on screen here.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
And give me just a second because I got to kind of get ready to get it
That's
set
right.
up.
You can edit this bit out.
Probably.
So have we got to describe this to the people who are listening and going,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Well, one of the big changes in Ventura, there's a couple of new apps, and if you're a iPhone or iPad user, this will look very familiar to it. This is the weather app.
And very good weather app it is too on the iPhone. I've tried it now. I hadn't before, and I like it.
It is. And the cool thing about this app is as you look at this, left-hand side, you've got all of your locations, which in iOS and iPadOS, you have to kind of go to a different screen in order to see that.
Scroll across. Yeah.
And because, of course, your Mac's display is so much bigger than anything you're going to get in iPadOS or iOS, you can see all of the information that's available. Because, I mean, this is a gussied up iOS app is what this is.
Yes. Yeah. Well, but we knew that. We knew that was going to start happening. Yeah.
It really, really is beautiful.
Ooh.
And they give you all of the information that you need all on one screen. And I'm going to switch. Let's go to Daytona. Let's look at Daytona. Daytona Beach, it's 79 degrees, partly cloudy with a high of 80. And you've got your hourly temps there. You've got your 10-day forecast. You've got a radar map. You've got air quality. You've got all of this stuff in this weather app. And when they talked about it, I was kind of like, okay, so what? It's a weather app. But now that it's here and I can see it, I have to say I am impressed.
Okay.
Now
I like the rain radar as well on it. That's really cool.
Yeah, precipitation right there.
Sorry, precipitation, not rain.
One of the other apps that they've thrown in is
this is funny.
Not quite as impressive.
No, it's not.
And this is the clock app.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be the clock.
Now, and it's not that it's bad. It's not that it doesn't give you all of the information that you may want. I've got a number of presets here if you're watching on YouTube. Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, Boise, Idaho, because reasons, and London. So at a glance, Gaz, I can tell exactly what time it is in your time zone.
Good, because I think tomorrow we're actually into a new back to GMT, and we're dropping
back to GMT from BST.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll update for you tomorrow.
But there's also, you have an alarm. You see, I don't have any alarms.
No alarms. Yeah.
You've got a stopwatch, and why you would set a stopwatch on your computer, I have no idea.
Actually, I do. That would be really useful. Well, okay. So now,
wait, hold on. Let's see how long it takes him to tell us it.
These videos that I've been doing, have got a very strict timeline. And when I'm doing the script, I like to have time points. So actually, that might be useful for me to do the very last video that I've got to do out of the 22 or 3 that I've already done. So it would have been useful. That's the only use
it took you 24.09 seconds to give us that information.
Yeah,
and of course,
you would not have been able to do that unless it had that stopwatch.
Exactly. And there's a timer. Now, a timer I can understand. I can understand having a timer. The stopwatch one kind of threw me.
Yeah, but you know what are you going to do? They'd have been lambasted if they hadn't put the stopwatch on there.
That's true. That's true. There's also live captions, which are in beta for FaceTime. So I haven't tried that yet. Have you tried live text yet? Which is something that originally started on the Mac and in iOS and moved on to iPadOS and is now into macOS.
I haven't.
And I got to say, I have tried this.
Mm-hmm.
and it works really, really well. I went into an Amazon page that had a T-shirt on it that had text in an image on the T-shirt, and I was able to copy that text and move it off onto my desktop, though I could have put it in Pages or wherever. So that works really, really well, and I was kind of surprised.
Let me see if I can find an image with text on it. Because the thing is, I don't take pictures of text that often, I must admit. Only when I need to record something. And, funnily enough, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
I know, it's getting late for you. I'm sorry.
I can't find. There's one. Right. Okay, live text. How do I use live text then? Tell me, how do I use live text? Oh, my word. Oh, let me go into notes. Let's see if this works. And paste. Oh no, it's just copied the picture.
Yeah, it can be a little flaky.
Okay, copy. If I copy that, it's just and it just. Oh no, it's got that. It can't spell my name. It's got but that's fine because it is a. Oh no, I'd give them that. Actually, they've done well. Oh, that's impressive. That's impressive.
But and you can just drag it. If you highlight the text, you can just drag it right to your desktop.
Okay,
and it'll put a little text file on your desktop.
Ooh. I like it. That is impressive. I do like that.
Isn't that kind of cool?
That's kind of cool.
All right. Next thing is system preferences has now been changed to system settings. And if you have used an iPad or an iPhone, you will see that all of this looks very, very, very familiar. And honestly, this is an improvement. I look at this as being a big improvement over what was there previously, mostly because as you looked at the wall of icons that you would get in the system preferences, it wasn't always easy to kind of figure out which one you wanted. So you'd have to click on one, have it come up. Oh, that's not the one I want. Go back, see the wall again, click on one. And with this, you can just select any of them that you want and see if that's what you needed.
Yeah, it is a better filter and folder option, definitely. But equally, do you know what I tend to do though, Guy? I did in the old one, which sometimes worked really well. And so far I've used it in this one. It has worked really well, and that's search. I've used search on this as well. Now, one thing that I've actually had, I don't know if you remember, but I used to have a problem with my watch not opening my Mac, and I couldn't work out why. It just didn't work. So I went on, when Ventura uploaded, I thought, great. And I tried it, and it worked the first time. And it also works if you want to unlock an app for the first time. It gives you, on my watch, I could double click and it allows me to get into it.
Nice.
And it's really great. However, now it tells me, the Wi-Fi signal is not strong enough for your watch to open this Mac. What is that going on about? So now,
because you're right there in front of the Mac.
So my watch again doesn't work in opening my Mac.
Okay. Next on the list is passkeys. This is an on-device method to replace passwords. These aren't stored online, though.
It's not particularly new, though, is it? They've been rolling this out a little bit more and more.
But according to Apple, this means that they can't be hacked. It uses Face ID and Touch ID for verification and syncs through iCloud, which is online. So to say they're not stored online doesn't quite ring true to me. And so far, only works with Safari. And I guess that's not really a big surprise.
No.
iCloud Photo Library, which now lets users easily give access to your iPhotos library, your photos library.
We had many years ago, we had a bit of a conversation because this is a biggie for me, but it still doesn't work quite how I'd like it to work. I'd like Mrs. G and Mr. G, that's me, to be able to share our library. And shared folders just didn't do it. It just didn't work right. It just, there was
flaky as hell.
Yeah, it's not flaky, but you had to be, Mrs. G just wants it to work. She doesn't want to have to move things. She doesn't want to have to things automatically doubling up. And so what I don't want to do though is have a shared folder from my photos to hers, because I've got lots of shots of, which I use to do like the picture on the back of the wall here behind me, if you're watching the video. And basically, I've got 20,000. Well, she doesn't want suddenly 20,000 to scroll through these. With 20,000, actually, I've got 40,000. What am I talking about? But it may work, this process, if she has a shared folder with me, because then all of her pictures can come in and I can put them into the process of making sure they get onto the Apple TV, because I've got all of that automated on my screen, and then we can see them all together. Because that's one thing that we've always complained about. She says, I never see your photos, you never see my photos. So this may be easier for both of us to see the photos on the Apple TV. She's still not going to get all of mine, but boy, she doesn't want all of mine having
No,
50
probably
000.
not.
No.
Also, and I don't have this in the notes, it's the search feature for photos is supposed to be much better now. And
Yes, I have heard
I haven't
that.
tried it yet.
Yeah, no, nor have I.
But in talking about the shared photo library,
I'm just gonna tell you, confirm. Yeah, actually 46,695 photos, 1,872 videos. She doesn't
so
want
just
all
a
of them.
couple.
She doesn't want all of them.
Yeah, just a few.
I mean, I know that you can choose. People can say, yeah, but you can choose, but that's the point. I just want it all shared.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Does anyone expect Gaz to go through 48 to 49,000 photos and videos and go, okay, share this one, this one, this one, this one? It's like, no.
It
No
can
one's gonna do
advise
that.
for you. It can advise for you, but we'll see. Anyway, it'll be easier for me to do it for her to share to me, and then we can do it that way. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that's going to work for us. So more on that in future shows, hopefully.
Yeah, as long as we remember about it. But about the shared photo library, this allows people that you select to add, edit, share, and delete. And
can I just
delete.
say, yeah, we'll get back to that delete bit in a minute, but you can share up to 5 people.
Yes. Now, I'm not crazy, Gaz, about the delete feature.
I think you're panicking too much. I've heard quite a bit. I think you're panicking too much, because I think actually that if somebody else deletes one of the photos that you've got shared with them, you still get quite a big notification as to whether you really want that deleted or whether you want to keep it in your library. I don't think it's quite as draconian as you perhaps think it is.
Maybe, but it makes me nervous. Now this is related. This is related to something you were talking about in the snippets. Messages lets users edit recently created messages, which is fine.
Oh, sorry, I've jumped forward.
Mark current messages as unread so that you can return easily to them later. Now, it also lets you share files across messages and collaborate, including editing, which is a big change from how messages works before. And this seems to be part of how Apple is trying to create an all-encompassing kind of suite of applications that will also allow you to use things that are more popular than their applications. So if you're in an office environment and you're using, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all of those documents, well, you should be able to share those in messages and be able, I'm guessing, as long as you also have those same applications,
yes,
to edit and all the rest of that, which is something that Microsoft 365, MS3 or Office 365 has allowed for years and years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, share play video content. Mail search is supposed to be much better. Also, schedule when you want an email to send, and I have never had to do that before, but I guess, hooray, you can do that now.
Well,
and
I've had occasion to want to do it. It's never worried me that I couldn't, but I have had occasion that I'd like to do it. So that may become useful. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Also, you can schedule when you want an email to send, and it will remind you of missing attachments in case you forgot to add it in an email message.
As long as you
most
mention
other mail
attachment.
programs have done for a long time.
Yeah, as long as you mention for all of these that there's an attachment.
Yes. Hand off your FaceTime calls to other devices to or from your Mac, which is kind of cool. Now, this next one, continuity camera. Now you're using continuity camera right now.
Now I'm pointing at it. Now I'm pointing.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh.
And to give you kind of an idea of how well this can work and how it's going to look as compared to a high-end camera. I'm using a Sony, I don't know how high-end you would consider it, a Sony A5100 mirrorless DSLR with an f1.4 lens at whatever the 18 to 24 millimeters. Now I'm going to turn on
Ooh,
my iPhone 13's camera.
I could do the same here. I might have to move, but I could do the same. So anybody who's watching, obviously on YouTube, will see the difference that you're about to show. Oh, get you! You've got both videos up at the same time.
Actually, let me see if I can solo just my two cameras.
Oh, guys being twicky guy.
No, it won't let me do it.
No.
Okay, well, but to kind of give you a contrast, here is my Sony DSLR, which is like a $400 to $600 camera with a $300 to $500.
It's not a DSLR camera. It's a mirrorless
camera.
Yeah.
With a $300 to $500 low f-stop lens, which can be very, very expensive. This next one is my iPhone 13, which also looks pretty darn good. And you'll notice I've got the background blur, just like I do with this. And that's because in your settings for continuity, if you go up to your menu bar, there's what looks like two little slider switches. And if you select that and you go to video effects, you can select the camera. Come on, bring it back here. You can select the camera that you want to do this with.
This is a guy's tip.
Yeah. And under, you'll see the applications that you're using this camera on. In this case, it's Google Chrome because we're doing this in StreamYard. You can turn on center stage. Here's center stage.
Yeah, moves with you.
And it kind of moves around with you. I'm going to turn that back off because I actually find it annoying. Portrait mode, which gives you a blur effect. You see the blur effect is now gone. I'm going to turn it back on because I think it actually works really, really well. And the last thing I'm going to turn on here, I haven't tried because I've got studio lights in here that I use. I'm going to turn on studio light, which is the third effect that it has, and see what difference that makes. You'll notice when I turn that on, if you're looking at the YouTube video, that it darkened my background behind me. And actually, I think that looks better than than that right there.
I've got a cheap set of lights. I've just got the tungsten. Well, it's not a tungsten; it's an LED in the ceiling.
Well, let me bring you in here.
Yeah, because I'm going to show you a big difference now because it is massive, this difference. So, and I've got an LED light over here, which my hand is covering. You can see the shadow over my face. Anyway, I'm going to now change to studio light. You tell me what you think.
Wow, that is huge.
It is, isn't it?
That's a really big difference.
So I'm going to stick with studio light from now on.
Okay. Especially if you're using continuity camera.
Now, I can put portrait on there and blur the background as well, of course. But I think that's got a little bit of blurring around the edge. So that makes me look
so I'm going to
that makes me look all mystical. That makes me look all mystical. Ooh. Actually, though, I prefer your mirrorless camera.
Yeah, I just turned off the continuity one.
Yeah.
But the point that that I'm trying to make is I spent a lot of money on this camera and this lens, and also one of those constant batteries that you put in so that you don't have to worry about the battery and, mounting it and all the rest of that. And granted, my iPhone 13 with what I bought it with probably cost more than the camera, but I can't make phone calls on my camera. I can't send text messages on the camera.
You can't send emails.
I can't send email with this camera. But if I want to, as soon as I'm done with what we're doing here today, I can just pop this out of the little stand that I've got it on. Actually, I wish I had I wish this other one would work. let me try something here.
So I'm not quite sure what Guy is going to be trying, folks who are listening and not watching and thinking I'm bored already, but he's just staring into the.
No, it won't. I'm trying to, because I've got another iPhone down here.
Okay, well, let's not worry about that now, because
I'm not
people
going to worry
listening,
about it.
People listening aren't so interested. It might be.
But I will as my pick. I'm going to go to Amazon.
Oh, you're gonna have a
live pick here.
A live pick. No, it's not going to be a pick sake.
No. And I'm going to come back here to StreamYard. I love StreamYard. It really, really is such a great program. And I'm going to share the screen and show you what I have and what I'm using to mount this camera to the desk. It's the universal airplane iPhone stand holder, clear look.
Is that
maximize clarity, 360-degree rotation?
But that actually sits on the top of your screen, I assume. So what Guy is showing is
no, I have it. It's on my desk. I have a slightly raised desk.
Okay, all right, fine.
That's why I was hoping that the other one was going to work.
Okay, so that would be okay, but you wouldn't be able to put it in front of your screen because obviously it'd block out your screen. But it could possibly go. Would the bracket? So he's got what he's showing is a bracket which, like a clamp that holds the iPhone, and it goes up to a pivot, which then goes back into a little bracket, which then sits vertically down onto a.
And it spins around, so you can now, move the orientation of the camera.
That's great. But all of my shelves that I'm looking at to my left here, all of the shelves come out horizontally, Guy. So that bracket at the back needs to be able to pivot round so that it can go onto those shelving.
It does.
Okay, cool. That's cool then. How much is that?
$12.
That's pretty good.
And I will put
folks,
a link.
Folks, if you've spent £1,000 on your phone or $1,000 on your phone and you want to trust a $12 bracket, that's fine. Don't blame Guy if it falls off and your phone breaks. Don't blame Guy. It was $12.
But,
you paid your money and took your
$12. It's a great little stand.
It does look good.
It's got two clamp points. Actually, it's got the clamp point where it attaches to either your monitor or a shelf or what have you, and then of course the second clamp point that goes around your phone. And I've got the iPhone 13, the bigger iPhone 13, and it fits it with room to spare. So if you have a Max, it would work with that as well.
Cool. We'll take that as a pick sake, even though we're not there yet.
Yeah, that's my pick sake.
Yes,
the last thing I'm going to talk about is Stage Manager, which lets users move.
I don't even know.
What? I'm not going to try to demo it. I think everyone.
I don't even know how to get into Stage Manager, to be honest with you.
Same kind of thing. You go up to where the two little clampy things are,
two little
whatever you call those.
Horizontal lines on your menu bar, probably towards the right.
And there's a thing there that says Stage Manager. You turn that on.
That's it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it now either. Yeah,
well, cool. I'll real quick. I'll show that to you.
Well, you don't have to, because I think that's a waste of space.
And that's what it looks like.
Yeah, waste of space.
And the kind of cool thing about it is if I want to add another program to the default that will pop up when I hit it, just drag it out. Oh, it didn't work. It actually didn't work. Okay. Yeah, it was working earlier. I don't know why it's not working now.
Okay,
but we're going to go ahead and stop that.
It's a new operating system. They're going to have foibles.
Yeah. So that's
brilliant. Well done. That's very good.
Oh, you're nodding your head.
Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
This is a real
monster.
This is a real quick one on your iOS devices, in particular on your iPhone. I'd forgotten about this, so it's more of a reminder maybe. But there is an option in your menu bar. You know, when you do your drop down and you get to your Bluetooth and your airplane mode and all of those, you can also pop in there a quick squeen. You could get a quick screen recording mode, and it's basically a circle with a black dot in the middle of it. Press it, it comes up with options as to where you want that screen recording to go. So if you've got some social apps, you can actually screen record and send straight to them, or you can
screen record
it to your Photos app. And if you've got something that you want to show somebody and you just want to do that quick screen recording, really easy, really simple. Done it a few times since I've remembered it. So my tip is remember it's there.
Oh, more head nodding.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
Oh, is there another one I can put it? No. I won't do that. We already did it for.
So the longest segment on this week's MyMac podcast is the output after Gaz's
30 minutes later.
The outro.
12 days later. Okay, if you would please go to timeout.com, see their list of helpful Ukrainian donation sites, or just go to Ukrainian Red Cross or Doctors Without Borders and you can donate there. And it's for a good cause. And we wish all of the Ukrainians the best of luck in very, very trying times. We have feedback.
Ooh.
We do. Someone near and dear to this show has called in. And and we have to specify exactly who this person is because there are two people with the same name that now call in. There's NY Greg and NC Greg, which almost sounds like a rapper's name. Yo, NC Greg, what up? All right, that's just not right.
Greg's
I'm doing that.
With NY Greg, yo.
Yeah, yo, Greg. Here he is.
Here's a tip for any listeners to the MyMac podcast that have tinnitus. When you finish listening to the MyMac podcast, you'll be grateful to hear the ringing in your ears again.
I actually have one more. Here it is.
Hey guys, it's Greg from North Carolina.
Hi, Greg from North
I was
Carolina.
just enjoying the duck puns that you made on MyMac 912.
Last week.
I thought I'd share with you one of my very favorite bits of duck-based humor. There was a marvelous comedic actor by the name of Paul Lynn, who used to be on a game show in the United States for many, many years called the Hollywood Squares. On a side note, if you ever want a very enjoyable rabbit hole to go down, just do a Google search on Hollywood Squares, Paul Lynn, and you'll find many lists of things that he said on that show that are absolutely hilarious. But here's the duck-based one that I remember. The question was asked of him, can you get a pound of down feathers out of a duck? And without skipping a beat, his response was, I got him in there, didn't I?
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. That was good. Oh, okay.
Right.
And on that,
hey, I do the jokes.
on that duck-based moment, if you would like to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/MacParrot. You can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/MacParrot or pay a pal at paypal.me/MacParrot. Now, Cass, if people wanted to get a hold of you and say there is just entirely too much duck-based humor in this show, how would they do that?
Easy. Send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com. In the not the to field, that's where you put my name, but in the topic field, they call it topic. No, when you're writing it, what is it now? Yeah, topic. Subject. In the subject line, put ducks, and I will respond. I don't know how I'm going to respond, but I will respond.
Hey, you'll get a Woody
that
or
sounds
something.
a bit loud to me. Can I turn that down?
It is a little loud.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it down a bit. That's because you told me last week to turn something up, and I didn't turn it down. Anyway, yeah, Gaz at mymac.com, subject field ducks. Just do it. Okay, just do it. Also, you can contact me on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gazmaz, GAZMAZ. You can also contact Guy and myself on the Twitter, twitter.com/Guy and Gaz, GUYANDGAZ. Boy, we've gone long on the Zcast theme tune this week. Now, if you also want to send an email into both of us, well, actually, it's feedback, FWDBACK at mymac.com.
MyMac.com.
Good guy.
He's also a really cute guy.
So guy.
Yeah.
Who are you, really?
Guy.
I'm here with Guy. The guy.
A non-toxic guy.
I'm talking about the fact that Guy is not a player.
You think I'm crazy, don't you?
Guy?
My name is Guy.
Ready?
His name was Guy.
Guy says.
We know it was a guy. I like to go with Guy.
Pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain.
I have my signal. Unleash hell.
Guy.
Guy?
You remember Guy? Guy's the one.
No fooling.
If you want.
An email from Guy.
How would they do it? Guy?
Oh, every single week. Every single week. All you would have to do is address that email to Guy at mymac.com or podcast at vertshark.com. Vertshark.com is the website that you can go to see eventually all of the odds and all of the vids. Wow, I am just completely lost. What else is there? There's
Twitter.
There's Twitter. Yeah, Mac Parrot and Vert Shark over there on the Twitters. And as well as Vert Shark over in YouTube. And you can see all of the vids over there on YouTube, because I also put not only the mymac.com podcast vids, I also put the Guys Daily Drive vids, which is me in my car driving to work. And I do it live. So exciting.
So exciting.
So exciting. Who knows? One of these times I may put myself into the hospital from an accident or something.
We don't want that to happen, guys.
Let's wait for that to happen.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Now, we also have a Skype telephone number, Gaz.
Stop the presses!
Gaz knows it. Gaz and NC Gary. Greg. Jesus, what is wrong with me today? NC Greg knows what that telephone number is, and it is 703-436-9501. That number again is 703-436-9501. Or if a 1 or a +1 that I didn't even mention when I started talking about this telephone number is too much for you to do, because apparently it was for me this week, you can go right to the Skype application, Gaz, and just dial 703-436-9501 as I'm completely stroking out on the show this week. Now, if you would like to do something else, then go do that thing instead. But I would like to say, wow, thank you. Thank you for watching and or listening to the mymac.com podcast. And make sure you download it. Wow. Make sure you download it first.
You need therapy, man.
Oh my God. I'm having such a terrible time with it this week.
You need something.
I do. But even with all of that, Gaz, I think that we're good enough.
Yes. Not this week.
I think that we're smart enough.
Maybe, maybe not.
No, I don't think so. And that Wilf gone it. Find that Wilf. Doggone it. Woof. Woof, woof. Woof, Wilf. Woof. People like us.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Guy, whenever I try to eat healthily, a chocolate bar looks at me and snickers.
That joke should go right to the Milky Way.
Boom. Or Mars. End.
so you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home and go home.